Come down into Child's Pose. You can have a bolster out in front of you, or a bolster is not necessary. You can have a blanket if you want something underneath your torso to rest your belly against. If you are using a blanket or a bolster, take it all the way down to the inner thighs, but allow your hips to sink down towards your heels. So the bolster should not be underneath the pelvis. It should be at the low belly and up. You could rest your forehead on the floor. You can rest your forehead on your hands. If you're not using a bolster, you can let your forehead come all the way down to the floor. Bring the toes to touch. Allow your knees to open up wider than your torso. We're going to begin a breath called Brahmari. Brahmari breath is done through the nose. The mouth stays closed. On the inhale, it's a long, slow, deep breath in through the nose. And on the exhale, you hum the breath out. So it sounds like this. And you're going to continue Brahmari while you're in Child's Pose. And this breath is great for drawing the focus and attention inside your body. The vibration effect that it has on your body is very soothing. Breathing in through the nose, exhaling with the humming sound. Mouth stays closed. Drawing your focus and attention inside your body. And then release Brahmari breath. And start to bring yourself up. Use your hands to support you as you sit up. Take a few breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. And then come into Ujjayi breath. Ujjayi breath is done through the nose. The mouth stays closed. On the inhale, you allow the belly and the ribcage to expand. On the exhale, you draw the belly and ribcage back toward the spine. There's a narrowing in the throat passage as you breathe in and out through your nose. And prepare yourself for a heart opener back bend. You can use a rolled blanket or a pillow, if it's a thick pillow. You're going to lie your back down. The soles of your feet can touch and knees open out away from each other, or you can straighten your legs right out. You just want to feel that the back is in an arched shape and that the chest and heart are open and exposed. The head can be all the way down to the floor, and if that bothers your neck, then have something underneath your head. I put my hands behind my head, and that allowed my shoulders to open up. So that's always an option too. Using your Ujjayi breath, breathing in and out through the nose, narrowing the throat passage, creating that whisper or wind-like sound with your breath. And we'll use Ujjayi for the entire practice. And the Ujjayi breath should be soft. If it's too loud and forceful, you'll build heat in the body. And as a Pitta dosha, we want to try to take that heat down as much as we possibly can, as we typically run hot. So soft Ujjayi breath. And then slide your hands down, bring your legs together and roll onto your right side. And pause on your right side in the fetal position for a few breaths. As you come up, still using your Ujjayi breath, removing props from your mat. We're going to come down on the back into a supine twist. So cuddling up on your side, it doesn't matter which side, we'll do both. Your bottom arm is a cushion, top hand is on your waist. Take a deep breath in. On the exhale, allow your upper body to twist back behind you. Keep your hand on your waist if your shoulder doesn't touch the ground. If the shoulder touches, extend that arm and take 5 deep cycles of Ujjayi breath. into the rib cage, letting your head look towards your hand. Twists are great for releasing emotions, calming the nervous system. When you're ready, engage your core, and you're going to roll onto your other side. Your bottom arm will be a cushion for your head, and the top hand's going to rest on your waist. Knees are tucked up. Take a breath in. On the exhale, slowly twisting the upper body back. Again, if that shoulder doesn't touch, that's okay. Keep your hand on your waist. If your elbow doesn't touch, you can also just keep the hand on the waist. If the shoulder comfortably touches down, extend that arm, maybe looking toward that hand as you take your deep breaths into the rib cage. Slowly come out. And begin to climb yourself up. Removing any props, blankets from your mat. And we're going to come into a forward fold. Folds are really cooling for us Pitta types. So feel grounded in your feet as you inhale and lengthen up. On the exhale, fold forward. Fold from the hip crease. Maybe bending your knees, especially if this is a morning practice. Bend your knees. Backs of the legs aren't quite awake yet. Maybe if the knees are bent, you're resting your belly on your thighs and you're letting your head completely go. I had my hands stretched out here to give a little stretch in the arms. And you can walk your hands as close to your feet as you'd like. Really, really let your head completely go. A reminder might be to gently rock your head, yes and no. Just letting the cervical spine go. Rotating your pelvis back behind you so that you don't have your tailbone tucked under. Bring your hands to your waist, roll your shoulders back, and with the core engaged, come all the way up to standing. And pause for a few breaths, making sure that your brain's getting plenty of fresh oxygen. And we're going to do more stretching. Stretching's always so wonderful. Inhale the arms up and interlace the last 3 fingers of each hand, and the index and thumbs come together. On the exhale, leaning up and over to the right side. You can look towards your right. I did this against a wall because it's a reminder to keep the whole back side of my body against the wall. And then you come on up, and then leaning and stretching over to the other side. So try to stay long on both the right and the left sides of the body so that you don't collapse down. And one more time on each side. Every time you come through the middle, you're reaching up and then leaning up and over. Getting some length in the right and left sides of the body. Feet are rooted. And we're going to come back down to our mat. We're going to prepare for Pigeon Pose. You're going to slide your right knee toward your right wrist and let that right foot cross over toward the left side of the mat. You're going to stretch your opposite leg straight back behind you as much as you can. And stay on your hands here. Try not to let one hip sit toward the floor and the other hip stay off of the mat. See if you can keep even hips here. If you do decide to fold forward, lengthen your body forward. So you're not going to round forward, but you're going to lengthen your spine. You can stack your fists on top of each other and rest your forehead on your fists like I have here. Or you can come all the way down to your forehead and stretch those arms out in front of you if you'd like. And this is a stretch for the psoas muscle. Deep breaths, ujjayi, narrowing the throat passage as you breathe in and out through your nose. Letting go. Softening anywhere you can, around the hips and the pelvis. perhaps the shoulders, maybe even your face. Letting your hips be really heavy. Finding that place of stillness. And when you're ready, you're going to lengthen your spine as you walk back up, maybe pausing, and then carefully coming to hands and knees. You're going to take that same leg that you had bent, you're going to reach it straight back behind you and curl the toes under on your mat and press the heel to the back of the mat so that you can stretch the back of that leg and get some blood to flow back into your hip, your knee, and your foot. Looking straight down. And then when you're ready, you're going to move to pigeon pose on the other side. So having your left knee towards your left wrist, the foot crosses toward the right side of the mat as you extend that right leg far back behind you, even out your hips. Make sure you're not leaning on one side more than the other. And then you're going to lengthen yourself down. For those of you who have problems with your knees or can't come into this pose, I will do a supine version next where you're laying down on your back, and it's much easier on the knees. So if you can't do this one, hang tight and I will show you the supine version in a moment. So in any of your yoga postures, it's really important to make sure that your mind doesn't escape onto something else. We have the tendency to get into poses that are sometimes physically challenging, and instead of breathing through it, our mind just kind of escapes off onto something else. So if that's happening to you, just keep coming back to the sound of your breath. Trying to be in the moment. Softening anywhere around the hips and the pelvis or the upper body. Begin to climb yourself up. Make your way back to your hands and your knees. And then stretch that left leg straight back behind you. Curl the toes under. And you're going to press that heel toward the back of the mat. Stretching out that leg, encouraging some blood to flow back into your hip, knee, and your foot. And next we're going to come down to pigeon pose on the back. So to prepare for that, come down to your back. You're going to cross your right ankle on top of your left. Keeping that foot flexed, let your knee just open out to the side of the room. And either keeping your foot on the ground, or you could take your left thigh off the mat, clasp your hands behind the thigh, and draw those legs in towards your upper body, but keeping your sacrum down on the mat. Don't let it roll up off of the mat. Because this is a psoas stretch, it's important to make sure that the sacrum stays down on the mat. And if holding the back of the leg causes stress in the shoulders, then just simply let go of the leg and use the strength of the legs to draw them in towards you. Keeping both feet flexed and your upper body is soft here. Still using your ujjayi breath, narrowing your throat passage as you breathe in and out through your nose. Mouth stays closed. And feel free to close your eyes in any of these poses. And to come out, carefully uncross, and you're going to slowly rock your legs from side to side. Maybe keep them about hip-width distance apart and just slowly rock them. And then when you're ready, move over to the other side. Take that left ankle on top of the right thigh, and either keeping the foot on the floor or taking the leg up off of the mat, clasping the hand behind the thigh, both hands. Letting that knee open up to the side of the room, and you can use your elbow to press that knee open. If that knee points down toward the floor or toward you, use your elbow to press it open. And again, you can simply let go of the legs Maybe use one hand to open up the knee. Try to keep the upper body soft. The sacrum again stays down on the mat. So the legs move, but the sacrum stays flat. And to come out, slowly release. And again, slowly rocking the legs from side to side. If you'd like, you can involve your head, letting it rock from the opposite side to the legs. And the knees and the head come to center at the same time, and then they go over to their opposite directions, soothing the spine. We're going to prepare ourselves for Shavasana. So this is a really short practice, but sometimes the shorter practices are a little bit more manageable. And stretch yourself out. I had a blanket for underneath my head, but if you don't want one, you don't need one. And take your arms back behind you. Give yourself a big stretch, some deep breaths, and then allow the arms to come down maybe about 45 degrees away from the body or wherever they're most comfortable. So if you can externally rotate those shoulders by pulling your shoulder blades toward each other and then down your back, and then letting your upper body soften. I look down just to make sure that I'm lined up. Sometimes we lie down and we think that we're straight and we're really crooked. So you can look. Allow the feet to separate out the width of the mat. Feet fall open away from each other. And take a long, slow, deep breath in through the nose. On the exhale, open up your mouth. Let any heat that built up throughout your practice, let it go. And when you're ready, close your mouth. Release your ujjayi breath. Return back to your natural breath. Allowing yourself to soften and surrender in Shavasana. So you moved your spine around in all directions. With every single exhale, getting heavier and heavier into your mat. You can practice this yoga sequence in the morning or even in the evening before you go to bed. It's soothing enough to do it before bedtime. So for us Pittas, our practice should always be done in a well-ventilated environment. We want to try to stay away from practices that produce excess heat, especially if the Pitta dosha is high. We want to move easy. When you're ready, start to lengthen the breath, maybe circling the wrists and the ankles. Letting your head softly roll from side to side across your mat. And bring your knees in towards your chest. Give yourself a good squeeze, maybe rocking yourself if you'd like from side to side. Enjoying your own caress, hugging yourself with love and respect. Roll onto your right side in the fetal position, still keeping your focus and attention inside your body. Begin to make your way up. And I always like to end my practice by taking a moment to acknowledge how strong and healthy and unique my body is. So take a moment to do that for yourself as well. knowing that you are perfect just as you are. Namaste.